Hello everyone, it's Danzen here. So this is our day 8. This is actually my first video in the second part, which the title says that create and run simple C# console application, which we have to master the art of creating and running simple C# console applications, dive into the world of console-based programming, where you will gain hands-on experience executing your code and seeing it in action. So this is basically just the part 2 introduction. The last part I was making notes of the part 1, which consists of write your first code until the module 4 and a little bit of the guided project stuff in there. You can see on the day 7 and download the notes that I made. It's very comprehensive and hope you guys enjoy that video. I think we can continue for our learn today, our lesson. Okay, starting with the installation and configure Visual Studio Code. Just immediately go to this link. Okay, just go to the introduction here. So yeah, software development is more than just writing code. So yeah, it's a process. Larger coding projects can take months or even years to complete and can be complex. Project is very depends on what purpose do you make. It can be months, it can be even years. Okay, the process of writing, debugging, testing, updating, and versioning and releasing code is a significant undertaking. To help with this process, developers use a specialized tool known as Integrated Development Environment, or just say IDE. An IDE typically includes a suite of tools that support the software development process from beginning to end. A process known as the development lifecycle. The IDE tools enable the developer to work more efficiently and can help the developer or team of developers to write, debug, test, publish, and version their code more easily. A good IDE is a programmer best friend. So any programmer in any programming language have to have knowledge of IDE, which is the Integrated Development Environment. And so other tools that support the software development also have to be learned as you advance this progress. Okay, suppose you are interested in getting started with C# application development. Yes, I'm still interested in C#. Okay, your first step is to select programming environment. After researching the available option online, you determine that Visual Studio Code is one of the most popular code editor among C# developer. You're happy to see that Visual Studio Code is quick and easy to install. So yeah, this introduction, which is install and configure Visual Studio Code. We're gonna be dealing with installation. We're gonna be dealing with some examining exploration in the Visual Studio Code. Is there how many bar, like menu bar, and then the sidebar, the bottom one, and there are such various content inside of the Visual Studio Code, which you can see later on after this one. Okay, let's continue the passage here, which provide even more features for professional developers. Both products include a free option. After consulting developer friends, you decide that Visual Studio Code will provide all of the tools that you need to get started. You make plans to begin setting up your development environment with Visual Studio Code. Okay, in this module, you install and configure Visual Studio Code to meet your coding requirement. I think I forgot the timer, so let's just start. Okay, you learn about the various panels and menus that comprise the Visual Studio Code user interface UI, as well as how and when to use them. Most importantly, you learn how to configure Visual Studio Code for C# development and how to create, build, and run and update a C# console application in Visual Studio Code. By the end of the so our learning objectives for today is about download and install Visual Studio Code, examine the Visual Studio Code user interface, configure Visual Studio Code to use the C# extension. We're gonna play with some extension, but it's still related to the C#. Okay, and then install the .NET runtime library. Also, we're gonna be dealing with the net, because C# is usually connected or related with the .NET. Also build and run a console application, and finally we are gonna test the application here. Is it work or is it will be an error? So the prerequisite here is you have at least experience using C# to declare string and numeric variables such as string, integer, or other floating numbers like decimal, float, double, and so other thing. The second one is you at least know what is the basic string formatting and some calculations. Okay, experience using C# to display format. Okay, at least you know how to type hello world, and you can just continue if you have met these prerequisites. Okay, let's just head to the next one, is about download and install Visual Studio Code. Okay, Visual Studio Code is lightweight but powerful source code editor that runs on your desktop and is available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. It comes with built-in support for JavaScript, TypeScript, and Node.js, and has a rich ecosystem of extensions for other languages and runtimes such as C++, C#, Java, Python, PHP, Go, .NET. So not just C#, but other languages such as this in the parentheses. It's kind of various multi-purpose, and if you just want the lightweight and not heavyweight, just like the real Visual Studio without code, you will see that it is commonly used by mostly professional developers. But for now, since we are just playing with the code itself, we just want a lightweight, but actually it's still powerful with the addition of extension, which we will come later. Okay. What we have to do now is download the Visual Studio Code. That's your task right now. Okay, getting up and running with the Visual Studio Code is quick and easy. It's just a small download, so you can install it in a matter of minutes. Nothing hard here, just download. Everyone can install it easily. So what you have to do is just copy, open link in new tab. So just, and then what you have to do right now is download for, depends on your operating system. If you use the Mac OS, just download this one. If you use Windows, just like me, use this one, or just press this button. If you use Windows, Linux, you use Linux. Okay, you can use any browser such as the Microsoft Edge browser or the Chrome browser. I'm currently using the Chrome browser, so it will be fine. Unless you're downloading it in the phone, I think it's almost impossible. Unless you have some tricks that that can download in the phone. Okay, so not here. The download page For Visual Studio Code, automatically detects your operating system. So if you are using the Mac OS, I think this button will immediately change to Mac OS, just depending on your operating system. So it's very come in handy. Yeah, it displays the version to download for your operating system, such as Linux, Mac OS, or Windows. Okay, wait for the installer file to finish downloading. The name of the installer files will be similar to the following for Windows: VS Code user setup x64. Okay, the file name depends on the current version of Visual Studio Code and your computer operating system. Close your browser Windows. Okay, as you can see here, we already got the .NET. Wait, not that one, but wait, let me check where. Oh, here. Here, as you can see, this is the VS Code user setup. It just like in the guideline says, which is here, exactly the same, just different version, but it's all right actually. So what you have to do is, okay, you can review the system requirements. Let's continue to the system requirement. Let's check. The hardware requirements is this. Visual Studio Code is small download, just smaller than 200 megabytes, and the disk footprint is just smaller than 500 megabytes. Yeah, so that means that Visual Studio Code is just lightweight and almost everyone can use it with their computer, unless you got an old school computer. Just I recommend you to download this. Okay, so the platform you can use is Windows 10 and 11, and these lists are not the supported one, as you can see here. Okay, so that is the system requirements. You can check it yourself. There is your computer or operating system is already meet the requirements or no. Okay, on your PC, open a File Explorer application and then navigate to your computer downloads folder. Okay, File Explorer, okay, here, and then navigate to your computer download folder. Yes, I did. In your files, okay, select and run Visual Studio Code installer file. So this, you have to select it and what is it? Double click it. Okay, like this. So there's another note here. You can install Visual Studio Code using either the user installer or system installer. The user installer installs Visual Studio Code just for the current user. I think I will just use the user installer since I don't have any other user other than me. But actually it's the same function, but this node just prefer the user installer rather than the system installer. So yeah, let's just okay, accept the agreement, next, and then wait, what if I just remove the code here? Let me just delete this first so that you guys can follow me. Okay, I already deleted the file there. Okay, select I accept the license agreement and then continue following the online instruction to complete the installation. So accept the default option during the remainder of the installation. This is the default, but I think I'm gonna choose another option, just like add open with code action to Windows Explorer file context menu, or yeah, maybe I will just checklist this one and maybe this. So because I want to immediately open it in the desktop icon, so yeah, just install right now. So preparing to install, just wait around maybe 20 seconds. Okay, for detailed installation instruction, see the following Visual Studio Code documentation page. So here, as you can see, this is the documentation for the Visual Studio Code on Windows. There are something like updates, Windows subsystem for Linux if you use the Linux, common question that you can see, just like a frequently asked question. Okay, scrolling is lagi, and so other thing that you can read on. Okay, if Visual Studio Code open at the end of the installation, close it now. Wait. Okay, I have to close it right now as the guideline says. Close it now. Okay, you'll be examining Visual Studio Code a little later in this module. Okay, congratulations, you have installed Visual Studio Code. You'll be using the right C# application. Your next step is to install the .NET runtime. We will gonna be dealing with the .NET runtime later on. So the code library that's required to run your C# application. So this is the code library, yeah, that will be related to the C# application, and it will come in handy actually. Ahead to the next unit, we will examine the Visual Studio Code user interface here. Okay, at its heart, Visual Studio Code is a code editor with a user interface and layout that's similar to many other code editors. On the left side here, as you can see, this one is sidebar. It's access the file and folder in your code project. So the function of the sidebar is just like bridge between this application and the folders inside of your Windows. So basically, let me just open the real Visual Studio Code here. As you can see, this is the files and folders are inside of the sidebar here. Usually we have to open the folder manually just like this, but Visual Studio Code has something better, like you can just access the folder to access the Windows immediately without having to open the folder manually, just like this. So it's very versatile and come in handy when it comes like this, because you can just manipulate the real folders of your Windows inside of the sidebar here, inside of the application here. So yeah, so whether you access the files and folder in your code project. Okay, on the right side is an editor area that displays the contents of the application file. Let me just make it bigger a little bit. So yeah, this one is sidebar. This is program.cs, which means it's file. Okay, and the final here is the folder, I think. Okay, and this one is the editor, which you are gonna be playing with it most of the time, like 99%. You will gonna play in this area, the editor. Your code will be inside in this tab. Okay, And let's see another things. The following diagram shows the 6 main sections included in the Visual Studio Code user interface. So start from A, which is the activity bar, is the narrow vertical bar. Here is the activity bar. Like there are so many of them. Like starting from the Explorer, search control, run and debug, extension, and one of them have different purpose. Each of them have different functionality, like this Explorer, and the sidebar will be automatically changed, and this label is as well changed depending on the Explorer menu. Like if we change it to the search, the sidebar label will also change to the search. Other thing like extension, this sidebar will gonna be extension things, like you can just download and examine any other extension that you're gonna download it. And the source control, especially if you want to use Git and maybe connect it with the GitHub. Search is pretty useful if you want to search some menus, some folders, some files that you actually cannot find it manually in the Explorer. So all of them is come in handy. So yeah, located in left hand on side, the activator just let's switch between views, yeah, such as Explorer or extension, and gives you other context specific indicator. So B, the sidebar. Here is the sidebar contains views that provide tools and resource. The sidebar views such as Explorer are very helpful when you are working on a code project. You're gonna be dealing with this many times alongside with the editor, because every time you change the file, the editor side will be changed as well. Like if you change file 1 to file 2, the code, this editor will change to other code immediately depending on the current code. So the C, editor, the R is the area used to edit your files. So here you can open as many editors as you like, side by side, vertically and horizontally. You can actually manipulate this one. You can split it down, you can split it right, you can manipulate more. Maybe with extension you can do a little bit more complex than this, the default one. So yeah, let's get next to the D, which is the panel. Area is used to display different panels below the editor region for output or debug information, errors and warnings, or an integrated terminal. So this panel will be pretty useful for checking on errors if you want to diagnose some errors on it, like if you want to debug information. Also, if there are some warnings, it will be pop up in here, I think. Okay, let's next. What is next? E, the status bar is horizontal bar along the bottom of the windows that display information about the opener project and the files you edit. So here is the status bar, the bottom one here. From here until here, the no notification. Status, you can see the notif here if there are some notification, and some information, some useful information such as what UTF that currently we are on. It is UTF 16, 32, 4, or right now is 8. Okay, so spaces, line, column, and this one is some problems or warnings that you may face right now, and it will pops up in here if you meet an error. Okay, that's the role of the status bar. Okay, comes to the main menu. Almost all application have such of this menu, like file, edit, selection, view. File is for manipulating the file, edit if you want to do some undo, redo, and other similar things. View if you want to change the appearance so that the view will be manipulated, or search, explorer, and such other things. Okay, as you become more proficient with Visual Studio Code, you will be working in the screen areas described. To start out, however, the most important areas for you to remember are the activity bar here, the activity bar, the sidebar, and the editor. We are gonna be dealing with these 3 bar, activity, side, and editor, many times, like 99%. So yeah, just focus on those bar, unless you want to play in other area, just like panel, status bar, main menu. I mean, everything in here is important, but what I mean is the 3 bar, activity, side, and editor, is used so many times. I mean, most of the time, like 99%, almost every developer use that, mostly. Okay, I think we can continue to the next exercise, which is Explorer. Explore the Visual Studio Code user interface. Okay, Visual Studio Code provides tools for developer who are just starting out, but it also extensible and advanced enough for professional developer. In this exercise, you open Visual Studio Code and complete a quick tour of the user interface. So we're gonna be exploring the Visual Studio Code. Previously, I think we just just examining, yeah. But right now we're gonna be really exploring the Visual Studio Code. Starting from here, use the Windows Start menu to open the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so here, if you open the Windows Start menu, you could see the Visual Code list as a recently added application. So if we press this Start button, okay, where is it? Not this one, I think. Okay, this one. Recent application. Here you can see my Visual Studio Code is available and ready to be pressed. Okay, you can also scroll down to find Visual Studio Code. You can also scroll down like this one. V, where is V? This one. You can just manually scroll down just like this, but it's very inefficient. Just search it up and you will be finding it quickly. Okay, another option is type the Visual Studio Code in the Windows search box on the launch tray at the bottom of the screen, or just type the Visual Studio Code. If you missed the recent application, if you don't see it in here, just like this, you just want to search it up and you will find the Visual Studio Code here. Just very easy. Notice that Visual Studio Code open to a welcome page. Okay, let's just open the Visual Studio Code here. Where is it? Okay, this is the first page, which is welcome page. Okay, let me just put it side by side so you can read it easily. Okay. Welcome page that includes some links and other information like new file, open folder, connect to, and other things. The first time that you open the Visual Studio Code, the welcome page displays some helpful walkthrough, like to get started with the VS Code contents. You can examine this information at your leisure another time, but not this time because we already do the tutorial right now. This is already a tutorial. You can just start learn this anytime. To close the welcome page, select the close button. Okay, this one is the close button. As you can see, just close it as it says close, shows as an X interface. Okay, each page that's open in the editor includes a close button X. Well, okay, located to the right of the page title, the welcome page tab is shown in the upper left portion of the Visual Studio Code window below the main menu. If you hover the mouse pointer over the X, the word close appear. Okay. Examine the activity bar and sidebar. We're gonna be playing with this side. Okay, activity and the sidebar like this. If we press this button, the Explorer, if we hover some other icons here, it will pop up a label depending on what types of icon here, like run and debug. If we change it to the Explorer, the sidebar will automatically become Explorer functionality and so other things. Okay, position your mouse pointer over the activity bar just like this, and then hover the mouse pointer over each of the icons to display labels. Yes, understandable easily. A label appears when you hover over the icons. You should see the activity bar button shows in the following image. So it's hover over the icons, yeah. From top to bottom, the activity bar icons are Explorer, Search, Source Control, Run and Debug, Extension, Account, and Manage. So I guess this is Accounts and Manage. As it says on the activity bar, select Explorer. Okay, I select Explorer. The Explorer view is used to access Explorer project folders and code files. This will be bridging us to the real folders inside of the Windows. For example here, if we make some files here, let's say 11, in the real folder inside of the Windows, wait, where is it? The file will immediately created without having manually added like this. So yeah, the Visual Studio Code offer a very interesting system so that you can access the folder or files without having to do like this. Yeah, we don't need to worry about it because this is easily versatile, since you can access it from the application itself without having to interfere in the real Windows files, folders, just like this. Okay. On the activity bar, select, wait, I haven't read this. Visual Studio Code will remember your work and open the most recent project files when it opens. Since this is the first time that you have opened the Visual Studio Code, no project folder is opened. Yeah, pretty useful, pretty come in handy with this program, with this system. Let's say if you have an error and you forgot to save it, but you have the most recent project files, and you can just actually automatically do the automatically save here. Just checklist it, but I'm currently not doing that. Alright, take a notice that the sidebar is now okay on the activity bar. Select extension. Extension is the bottom one here. I think I did install it already. Okay. Take a moment to examine the information displayed in the extension view. Visual Studio Code extension enable you to add coding language, debuggers, and other tools to the environment in support of your development workflow. You will be installing a C# extension later in this module. So yeah, still in this module, but I think it will be the next unit. On the activity bar, close the extension sidebar, select extension again here. If you press the extension activity bar, it will close immediately, but if you press it again, it will pop up again. So yeah, just close it right now, and let's go to the next section, which is examine the top menu here, the upper one, the top one. To view the file menu option, select file here. Notice the new open, save, and close option list on the file menu. There are so many options here. Like if you want to make a new file, you can just press the button. If you want to open the recent folders, you just want to press this button. And don't forget to always save your project, save your code here, save or save as, or just save all. Also, you can share or just close editor, close Windows. What if we close the editor? Oh yeah, let me test if we open the folder here. Not this one, but C# code here, and it will come back again to be like this. Okay, take a minute to examine the edit menu. Okay, I did it already. Notice that several of menus include options for interacting with your code. For example, the edit menu includes option to find, replace, and toggle code comments. And we have the edit menu here, usually used for undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, find, replace, find in files, replace in files, and yes, toggle. Pretty useful. I mean, all of them it's usually used in daily activity of the programming, like find, replace, but I usually just use the shortcut instead of just manually press the edit button, and then you have to like 2 times working. Like you have to press this button and then press again the button. Why not just do a shortcut? Like I want to copy this one. Copy, Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Done. And you want to undo it. Just Ctrl Z and then redo again. Ctrl Y. There you go. If you have some basics, you just want to advance it more, a little bit complex by pressing some shortcut, it will a lot of helpful for you. Okay, take a moment on the terminal. Wait. The selection menu includes option for selecting and manipulating coded lines. Selection. So this will play a lot with manipulating the code lines. I haven't played with this menu many times, but I will just ignore it for now. I mean, this edit is more important rather than just selection. For example, select all. It will select all. But if you want some shortcut, just Control A, just as usual, just like this. Okay, the third one is the run menu, includes option to run and debug your application. So this one is for run, just start debugging or run without debugging. And yeah, we see because we don't have any programming language connected to this file. So what you have to do is rename this to any file that you desire. For example, we are currently on the C#, so we have to type CS, and that will become a C# file. That's it. Okay, on the terminal menu, select new terminal. Where is terminal? Here, it should be here. This is output, debug console, and terminal. Okay, you can switch between the tabs, problems here, output, debug, console, and terminal. And hover the mouse pointer over the buttons, upper right to display the button label. Which button do you mean? Upper right to display the button label. You mean this one, right? Notice that the terminal panel includes a command prompt. Yes, I can do some comments here. Just like Minecraft, you can do comments. Terminal panel can be used to run command line interface or CLI commands. You will be using .NET CLI commands later in this module. We will be playing with the commands later in this module. Okay, in the upper right corner of the terminal panel, where is the upper right corner? Oh, this one. Select just the X here. Close the panel. On the view menu, select command palette. View here. We can see the command palette a little bit same like terminal, but the command palette is on the top and maybe different purpose. Okay, the command palette can be used to find and run all sort of useful commands. You don't have the time or the need to examine them in detail now. Just see here, there are so many of them. Like you can .NET add cursor to line ends, change file encoding, clear console. Maybe we can click console just like in the command palette. Clear console. What will happen? Nothing happens, I think. But if we clear okay, so the main thing, we can use the command palette for multi-purpose, and there are so many of them, we cannot just explain it right now, all of them, because it's too many of them. There are guidelines for this. Okay, where is my last part section? Okay, I think this one. The command palette prompt, type extension. Okay, type extension. To update the filtered list of comments, change extension to help. Okay, to help. Change this word to help. From the list of comment options, select help interactive editor background. So this one, I think. So yeah, there are so many useful guidelines here, as you can see, from the multi-cursor editing, Intelligence, line action, rename refactoring, and others. Okay. The editor playground document that opens in the editor includes a list of interactive activities. From the bulleted list of interactive activities, select formatting. Where is the formatting one? Oh, this one, formatting. Okay, here. Take a minute to read about the formatting option. You'll be using code formatting commands during activities as you learn more about C# programming. Here, so keeping your code looking great is hard without a code formatter. Luckily, it's easy to format contents either for the entire documents with Shift F or of the current selection with Ctrl K, Ctrl F. Both of these options are also available through the right-click context menu. So it's just like constant, yeah, cont is constant. Cars, we have some array here. What is this? I think this is Unicode with icons of cars. There are three values here inside of the array. And there is four car of cars. Drive the car, console log. This is the car. Oh, so this one is interpolation. How? Okay, interpolation. Close the editor playground. So let's see the Shift F, Ctrl K, or Ctrl F. Ctrl F, you want to search any word inside of the code. Like this one. What if we copy and paste it in here? What will happen? Ctrl K. So basically just like that. Okay, just ahead to the next unit. So yeah, exercise. So in this unit, what we are gonna do is configure Visual Studio Code extension. So it's about extension. If you know what is extension, it's essentially just like Minecraft mode. Like Minecraft mode is made by some developers outside of the Minecraft developer. I mean, mod developer. It's the same concept, just like Visual Studio Code. Extension is just a mod. It's just a mod in the Visual Studio Code that made by some of the developers, and it will be useful for other users. It has so many things, so many purpose. Maybe extension for theme purpose, for decoration purpose, for or have such functionality, or manipulate the Visual Studio Code entirely, or overhaul the Visual Studio Code, or for even better process. Or even right now we have so many AI and it's available in the extension that pretty useful for other users. Okay, you can extend the capabilities of Visual Studio Code using extension. Extensions are add-ons that provide additional functionality to the Visual Studio Code. There are language extension, theme extension, and extension that adds new features to the Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code supports the development of C# application using C# language extension and the .NET Software Development Kit or SDK. So we were gonna be using the Software Development Kit, or just say SDK, Software Development Kit. Okay, the .NET SDK and the .NET Runtime. The .NET is a cross-platform open source developer platform that's used to develop different types of application. It includes the software language and code libraries used to develop .NET application. You can write the .NET application in C#, F#, or Visual Basic. The .NET platform is used to develop and run application on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. The .NET platform provides a runtime environment for running application. Okay, the .NET Runtime is the code library that's required to run your C# application. You may also see the .NET Runtime referred to as the Common Language Runtime, or just say the CLR. The .NET Runtime isn't required to write your C# code, but it's required to actually run your C# application. So if you just want to write the code for yourself, for your learning, or just for solving some problem in lead code, just use the C# code without having the .NET Runtime. But if you want really to make a real application, C# application, you have to download the .NET Runtime. It's required if you want to make some application for C#. Okay, Visual Studio Code use the .NET C SDK and C# extension to provide a development environment for writing, running, and debugging C# application. So there are two that we need to use, the .NET SDK and the .NET Runtime with the C# extension, and we will gonna be download it after this, I think, and here below. Configure Visual Studio Code extension. To install the C# Developer Kit extension for the Visual Studio Code. Okay, with alright, go back to install the C# Developer Kit extension for complete the following steps. Ensure that you have Visual Studio Code open. Yes, I did open it. On the activity bar, select extension here. No, I think not this one, but this one, extension. In the search extension in Marketplace textbook, enter the C#. This is hashtag. So yeah, entering C# filters the list of extensions to show the only extensions that have something to do with the C# coding. In the filter list of available extension, select the extension labeled C# Dev Kit, which is this one. Yes, I already installed it before. So you have to install it. Sorry. It's basically just like this. You have to install the blue button here. Yeah. And then just wait and until it becomes like this, that has disable, uninstall, and this button. Okay, so there is a lot of information about the C# extension that you could read. For now, the important thing to know is that this extension help you to develop, edit, and debug C# code in Visual Studio Code. And you can come back later to read about the extension if you want. Yes, there are actually so many of extension here. We cannot just elaborate it one by one because it's too many of them. Just the important one, which is C# dev kit, C# IntelliCode for C# dev. That's it that we will gonna be installing today, and we're gonna be playing with it today. Okay, to install the extension, select install, the install button change to installing. Wait for the installation to complete, the extension will install. Okay. Note, you may see notification appear when installing the C# development kit extension. Ignore the notification asking you to log in and close the notification. Alright. So yeah, if you see any notification, usually in the bottom right here, just close it. Any notification, just close it. Whatever it is. Usually you want to log in, but it's just your choice anyway. If you want to log in, it's your choice. If you don't want, just close the notification by the X icon there. So yeah, close the get started with the C# dev kit page in the editor. On the extension view, clear the text C# from the search text box, which the extension view refresh to show the installed extension at the top of the list. Popular and recommended extension are listed below the installed extension. You can click and drag the top of the popular section. Where is it? Clear. Okay, I have to clear it. View refresh to show the installed. So these four are the installed one. And also I can click and drag. How to click and drag? The top of the popular section. How to click and drag? Weird. Okay, there aren't any prices for installing the most extension. There are many create extension for Visual Studio Code, but wait until you need an extension before you install one. So notice that installing the C# dev kit install the following extension. So if you install the C# development kit here, it will automatically download the net install tool and C# automatically, without having manually install it by yourself. It's already all in one. So yeah, here the final extension unit is named IntelliCode, which is here. As you can see, this extension provides AI assisted development for the C# development kit. So this one is AI assisted. Okay, pretty useful, I think. So in the search extension in marketplace textbook, enter C sharp here. In the filter list of available extension, yes, I did install it before. So this one, install quickly, close the integrate code for C# development kit. To close the extension view, select the extension icon on the activity bar. Extension view collapse. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Install the net. Okay, perfect. I did all of them. Right now we can continue the next one, which is install the net SDK. I think I already have the net SDK as well in my folder here, I think. Okay, install the .NET SDK here. The Git extension for Visual Studio Code helps you to install the .NET Software Development Kit SDK. The .NET SDK is required to run and debug C# application. So the SDK purpose is to run and debug application. Without it, you cannot just run and debug your C# application. You actually need this one, Software Development Kit. A little bit different than what is it? What was it? Oh yeah, C# development kit. It's different than the C# development kit. Software development kit is a bit wider than the C# because C# is just specialized to C#. Okay, let's check to see if .NET is already installed. Use the following step to complete this section of the exercise. Ensure that you have Visual Studio Code open. Where is it? Yes, it's open already. On the terminal menu, select new terminal. I haven't opened the terminal, so I have to open the view, and then where's the terminal here? This one, or just simply control, what is it? Oh, not that one, sorry. All right, let me test this command prompt. So what I have to do is type the .NET and then double dash version. See, I have the net SDK ready. The version is 8.0.302. It means that I'm ready to start the code. If you receive an error message telling you that the term .NET isn't recognized, the .NET SDK isn't installed. If a version of .NET is installed, you should see a response message listing the version number similar to the following. So yeah, 8.0.100, but I'm currently, my version is 8.0.302. That's it. So what I have to do is install the .NET 8 SDK. Having the latest supported version of the .NET platform installed is recommended, although .NET 6 and 7 are also supported. Of course, the best one is the latest one, which is the 8 version. Includes improvements that you may find helpful. So Visual Studio Code and C# Development Kit help you install the .NET SDK. So note here that C# training series that's available on Microsoft Learn use .NET. Ensure that you have .NET 8 installed if you plan on completing this training. Use the following steps to complete this section of the exercise. On the view menu, select command palette. At the command palette prompt, type .NET install and then select .NET install new .NET SDK. Okay. So use the following step. What you have to do is view here, then go to select the command palette here. At the command palette prompt, type .NET install here. Okay, it's already available in the third list here. After that, you're gonna have to select this one, install .NET SDK here. Okay, it should be like this because I already installed it already. So yeah, just wait the .NET SDK to download and install. The installation process may take a few minutes to complete. When the installation is complete, close your Visual Studio Code. Okay, I did it already. So verify again of my code. Okay, let's just open again the Visual Studio Code here and go to the terminal here. Check it again if your .NET is available or no. Yes, available. So close the terminal panel. Congratulations on getting .NET installed. You're now ready to start writing, running, and debugging C# application using Visual Studio Code. Exercise: create, build, and run your application. The .NET Software Development Kit includes a command line interface, or just say CLI, that can be accessed from Visual Studio Code integrated terminal. During this training, you use .NET CLI commands to create new console applications. So CLI, what is it? So this one is already include the command line interface. It's called CLI. And this one, CLI commands create new console application immediately just using the some commands, and it's already built automatically. Build your project and run your application. Okay, for example, the following .NET CLI command will create a new console application in the specified folder location. Okay, so let's me test this first. So let's copy this and go to the terminal here, and don't forget to paste it in here. So .NET new console, this is the keyword, so it will make a new console that can be used it. So this one is the folder names and the subfolder. Okay, the structure of CL commands consists of the following three parts. The driver, .NET in this example, this one is the driver. The command, new console in this example, this one is the comments, yeah. And the comments argument, -o, I don't know what is the -o means, but I know this one is folders. Okay, comments argument are optional parameters that can be used to provide additional information. The previous comment could be run without specifying the optional folder location. For example, .NET new console. In this case, the new console application will be created at the current folder location without having a new folder like C# projects and test projects. So actually, just use the .NET as the driver and new console as the command. It's already make the program successful without having the additional code here, which is the command argument. So driver and comments, it's already fine, but let's just copy and paste exactly the same like the guideline says here. Okay, in this exercise, you use the Visual Studio Code to create a new project folder, create a new console application using CLI commands, this CLI, customize the application in the Visual Studio Code editor, and then build and run your app. Alright, so create a C# console application in a specified folder. To begin, you create a console application in folder location that's easy to find and reuse. Ensure that you have Visual Studio Code open. Okay, checklist. You can use the Windows Start menu to locate and open Visual Studio Code. Or if you haven't opened the Visual Studio Code, just like this, just open immediately in the menu, or this one, and the recent opened folder here. And the application will be pop up here. On the Visual Studio Code file menu, select open folder here, open folder dialog will be displayed. You can use the open folder dialog to create a new folder for your C# project. Yes, this one is the currently for my C# project here. Let's just change this one to new project. An open folder dialog will be displayed. You can use the open folder dialog to create a new folder for your C# projects. So note, if you're working on your personal computer and you have a folder location you can use the open folder dialog to navigate to a desired folder locations. Okay, if you're working. This is my personal computer, and you have folder location that you use for coding projects. You can use the open folder. Yes, this one is currently I'm using it. The C# code. Okay, in the open folder dialog, navigate to the Windows desktop folder. If you have a different folder location where you keep code projects, you can use that folder location instead for this training. The important thing is to have location that's easy to locate and remember. This one is pretty easy to remember, as it says. Okay, in the open folder again, select, where's the dialog? Sorry. If you see a security dialog asking if you trust the others, select yes. Let me illustrate this one. Okay, save. If you select a new folder, and there will be a UI pop up like this. Do you trust the author of the files in the folders? And then you have to do is select yes, I trust the authors, or else you don't. Yes, just trust the folder as it says. I never pressed this button yet, so I don't know what will happen. Yes, I trust the button. So that's it. Let's go back to the file here. You can just right click and where is it? Let's just manually press again here and open folder, C# code here, and I come back to where I come. Okay, on the Visual Studio Code terminal menu, select new terminal. Where is new terminal? Notice that a commands prompt in the terminal panel display the folder path for the current folder. For example, yes, it display my current code. This is my path to my Visual Studio Code files here, which is the new projects.cs. It will be like this: C# users, some user, but it's not always be the same. My path is different. At the terminal commands prompt, to create a new console application in a specified folder, enter the following commands. Okay, copy, and then don't forget to type this command, copy and paste here. Okay, and it will immediately create a new folder here, C# projects and test project, just like this. The .this.NET CLI commands use the .NET program template to create a new C# console application project in the specified folder location. The command creates the C# projects, alright, and test project folder for you. So this one is C# as a project, and test project is the file. Where is it? Oh yeah, here. And use test project as the name of your .cs proj. I don't know what is it. What this the proj means? Just let's see. Maybe in the future we will know about it. 7 in the Explorer panel here. Expand the C# project folder. Yes, I expanded. You should see the test project folder and 2 files, this and other 2 files here, and object here, I think. A C# program file name program ts and C# project file name test project cs proj. Okay. The CLI commands use the folder name when it creates the project file, test project cs proj. Okay, the program cs file is the file containing your C# code. So this program cs, we are gonna be playing with the code inside of the program cs, not the other one like test proj, test project, or object folders. We are gonna be dealing with this file only inside of the C# projects. That's it. In the Explorer panel, to view the C# code in the editor panel, select program cs. As you can see, the default console application is the iconic Hello World application. Very iconic here. Console right line hello world, just like in our day one, the module 1. We learn about how to type your first code, how to write your first code using the right line method and console as the class. Okay. This app uses the console right line method to display hello world in the console window. Update, build, and run your application. Okay, in the start, you use the Explorer view to open your code project folder, customize your hello message, and then run your application. View to open your code project. Okay, Explorer view to open your code project, customize your hello message. Let's customize a bit. Hello. I mean, this is Danzen. Right click on the test project folder here. Select open in integrated terminal, the command prompt in the integrated terminal panel shows the folder location where the command will run. Before running a build or run command, you must ensure that the terminal is open to your project folder. Okay, verify that the command prompt in the terminal panel display the following folder path. Okay, file Danzen C# test project, exactly the same like my path. Okay, in the Visual Studio Code editor, update the console write line method as follows. Okay, I think it's already perfect here. The first time you edit a CS file, Visual Studio Code may prompt you to add the missing asset to build and debug your app. If you see the prompt, you can select yes. On the file menu, select save. You always need to save your code change to the file. Oh, I forgot to save. Okay, save. Code change that you have made in the editor will not be recognized by the code compiler until the code is saved. Okay, understandable. To compile a build of your application, enter the following commands at the terminal commands prompt. Build of my application. So .NET build. .NET build, just like this. Project to restore, all projects are up to date to restore. Okay, 0 errors here. And I see a new folders is created here. I see. The .NET build commands build the project and its dependencies into a set of binaries. Binaries include the project's code in intermediate language IL, files with the .dll extension, depending on the project type and settings. Other files may also be included. If you're curious, you can find the test project.dll file in the Explorer panel at folder location that's similar to the following path, just like this. But my path is this one. It just basically depends on your path folder. Maybe your path folder have different names, not Danzen, but that's actually your name, or maybe you have some others name. But the important things, the last two folders, it must be C# projects and then test project. That's the last two parts. Okay, no, your folder path will reflect your account and the folder path to your test project. To run your application, enter the following commands at the terminal command prompt. So yeah, .NET.run. Can we just actually run this? This is Danzen. Yes, I did it already. Build succeed. The .NET command runs source code without any explicit compile or launch commands. It provides a convenient option to run your application from the source code with one command. It is useful for fast iterative development from the command line. The command depends on the .NET build commands to build the code. Okay, the second one is notice that hello C# is displayed in the terminal panel on the line below the .NET run command. If you see hello world display, ensure that you have saved your code challenge. Okay, I did save it before. So congratulations, you have completed setting up Visual Studio Code and building and running a simple line of code. I think, is there something that I miss? So yeah, just continue to the next unit, which is knowledge check. Okay, the first question, which area of the Visual Studio Code user interface is used to write code? Of course, editor. Explorer, this one, Explorer. You cannot type any code here. You can just only rename something to something. What about extension? Extension is to install something, some program that's useful for your code. So it's not editor. So the editor is the correct answer. The second question is, which of the following tool is required to run command line interface commands such as .NET Run? Is it visual? This one? No, not that one. C# dev kit and SDK. So SDK is software development kit and C# development kit. .NET. .NET means that it must be .NET software development kit because this one is already .NET. And it can commands line interface commands just like this. So this one is the correct answer. Yes, exactly like what I expected. Okay, summary. Okay, your goal was to install and configure a development environment that meets your coding requirement for C#. You have installed Visual Studio Code, and a tour of the user interface demonstrated a logical layout that is consistent with industry standards. Yeah, Visual Studio Code is industry standards. Any developer can use it very easy. But if you want more professional application, I think you can go to Visual Studio. I mean, real Visual Studio without the code word. Just Visual Studio. The purple one here. This is what I mean. Visual Studio without code and Visual Studio Code. This one is something different. All right, let's go back. Yeah, you are able to configure extension that make Visual Studio even more powerful. Yeah, we can actually make our extension ourselves. That other users can use your extension for multi-purpose, for some purpose. You also install the .NET SDK to provide compiler and runtime support. Okay, and support for .NET commands line interface commands. You're now fully prepared to create C# application in a coding environment used by professional developer worldwide. Okay. Now we already use the real application, which is the Visual Studio Code. We don't use the, what is it? We don't use the net editor that built in the web anymore, but this one is the realistic code experience that almost every developer use, and you are ready to build the console application for C#. And that's it. I can complete the module for right now, and I received the achievement. Let's go back to here and finish the question here. Which one of the following choice provide the best description of an integrated development environment? IDE. Is integrated. Yes, this one is correct. An integrated development environment is a tool that makes it easier to write code. It can be yes, but the question is, Which one of the following choices provide the best description of an integrated development environment? That's the question. This one is not really describe the integrated development, but this one is already correct because Visual Studio Code is an integrated development environment, but that doesn't describe the IDE. Okay, an IDE is suite of tools that support the full software development lifecycle. Yes, I think this is the best description. Yeah, tools that support the full software development lifecycle. Yes, check your answer. Wait, I forgot to complete. Checklist this and check your answer. Alright, so that's it for day 8 and part 2, my first video in the part 2. I hope you guys can learn more and progress with me more in the future. Alright, that's it. So until tomorrow, bye bye.